We are live on Facebook. We are here for Spotlight Sunday, and I'm really excited to do this. We've had a couple of weeks off, so I'm really excited to be back and have a totally awesome rock star in here with us for Spotlight Sunday again. So I would love it if you could just take a moment to introduce yourself and kind of tell us like who you are, how you got started, why you do what you do, and then while you're doing that, I'm going to share this in all the places. So go for it.
Sounds good. Hey guys, I'm Samoa. I call myself a quantum cash and clients coach. And what that means is basically I help my clients get the clients that they want in their business and make money that they want in their business. People tell me that I have the Midas touch. It seems like every business that I touch turns into gold. So that's really fun. My clients usually 15 to 30x their income within weeks of working with me. How I got into what I did, I kind of just decided, before I was a web designer, and people started asking me to coach them on the side. So I started doing that just because. And then I stopped doing it for a while, and my business completely turned upside down. So it was really crazy that it did. And then literally a year after that, I was like, you know what? I don't want to do web design anymore. I actually love coaching and I want to do that full time. So I went full time into coaching, and that was 2 months ago. And oh my God, the results, the changes, the shift that not only I've made, but the clients that I've signed on have made has been absolutely mind blowing. So the reason that I do it is literally it makes me happy. Like I literally love doing it. It makes me very happy. And then that's pretty much the only reason I do it. It just makes me happy. And then the other side effects of it, like impacting people's lives and them impacting other people, just makes it way worth it. It's very fulfilling.
I love it. And that's so similar to like how I got into this too. I was a graphic designer, web designer, and now I do the coaching, consulting, whatever you want to call it. So that's super cool. I love that. And I definitely agree. Like it's so cool to just see the impact of that work versus just like making pretty things for them and putting them out, right? It's so much more powerful. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm super excited to hear what you want to share with us today. Before we get started into your awesome content, I always have to ask everybody the branding question. So what does branding mean for you and how has it affected your business?
I actually believe branding is a limitation to businesses. Branding the way that it's currently taught and done. So because I believe that, because I used to do it, and I believe that it's a limitation because we're dynamic beings. And a lot of times when we're branding, some people, not everyone, this is just my observation of it, when people brand themselves, they kind of limit themselves to one facet of who they are, and that's how they show up online. And it gets boring very quickly for them and even their audience. And because they're so stuck to this facet that they built and they don't want to change it. They don't let it be they don't express the variety and the paradox that they actually are. It keeps them, I wouldn't say stuck, because a lot of people with very strong personal brands are thriving. It's kind of like, it keeps them, basically you don't get where you want to be as fast as you can because of it. So I kind of like, but even then it's funny, it's a paradox because it's true, but also I branded myself as this multifaceted, paradoxical person, being an icon and online personality. So it's kind of like, even then, that's still a brand, right? So it's a very interesting paradox because in some ways it can limit you, but when you do it in a way where it doesn't limit you, when you take away the rules and the expectation, it actually lets you like go full, it takes you full circle and gets you where you need to be a lot faster.
Exactly. No, I fully agree with that. And that's why I teach the things the way that I do, and, figure out who you are as a person and then just show up and be you and let the right people find you. So I fully agree with that. I love it. Great answer. Natalie and Jasmine say hi. And then there are other people here who have not said hi yet. So please say hi when you come on so that we can hang out together. Yeah, so let's dive in then. So Limitless Leader is the title today. So I'm super excited to hear what you want to share with us, and let's do it.
Okay. So what do I want to share with you guys? So in terms of being a limit, before I even dive into that, I kind of want to define what it means.
Cool.
So most people online that's what they're trying to position themselves at, right? It's like, I'm the leader of this thing in this industry, and you should come to me so I can help you and lead you. That's pretty much what everybody's trying to do. What a limitless leader means to me is you knowing that you making that the forefront of your business and your life in general. It's really about living your life in full integrity with who you truly are, not who you think you are, or not who you think people want you to be, but who you actually are. And it doesn't just go in on your online personality, because there are a lot of decisions, hard decisions that I've made in my life and in my business that I did. And I hate to say it, because it shows that at the time I had a lack of self-love, because I didn't do it for myself. I actually did it because I felt like I had a responsibility to my audience and my prospect and my clients to be the example of the person that I know that they also are. So being a limitless leader means not just leading by example, but being in full integrity with who you truly are, not who you think you need to be, not who you think you are, and giving yourself the grace to let that change and shift at every single moment, and going through those shifts no matter what, even when it's scary.
Yes, I love that. I think that's an awesome definition. And this is so closely tied to what I do with my clients. Just it's called something completely different. So I love hearing just the different perspectives on that. I think that's amazing. I'm super excited.
Awesome. So do I just talk? I'm sorry.
Yeah, just whatever you wanted to share. So what you had, the title that you gave me was How to Create Deeper Impact in Deeper Pockets Without Spending More Time, Money, and Energy on Systems and Teams.
Okay, awesome, perfect.
But feel free to, this is your show, lady.
Awesome. All right. So here's the thing. What I have been noticing, and this is something, it's funny that I gave you that title, because when we set this time up together, it meant something completely different to me than it does now, which is showing like the evolution of it all. So what I thought it meant before was energetically, it's just about shifting your shadow, alchemizing your shadow, seeing all the fears and doubts that come up for you, mostly the fears and the shame that come up for you, and literally like getting rid of those so that you can understand the being and the person that you are. And part of it is that, because I want to use my story to explain. So I told you guys that I had a web design business it was going really well, and that's why I didn't want to shift. Like, when I felt the call to shift into coaching, I didn't want to do it, because I was like, my business is going so well and all that stuff. So why in the world would I do something completely different that I don't even know if people want, and da 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 da. Like, that was the story I was telling myself, right? And this has to go. Like, I didn't even understand why I wanted to do coaching. I didn't even think I was that good at it, even though my first coaching client made $30,000 within 3 weeks of us working together. Wow. I just didn't claim that. Like, I was like, yeah, it wasn't me, it was her, like all that stuff. So when it was time for me to shift it, I didn't, because I was afraid. There was some fear, there was shame, there were doubts. It was like, what if I do this and I don't make any money off of it? Or what if I start coaching people? Because that's a huge responsibility, right? So what if I start doing this and nobody gets results? Like, what am I going to do then? And all these fears and all this stuff was coming up for me. And so I didn't do it. And this is, so I want to introduce you guys to what I call your genius. It's slightly connected to your intuition, and it's also connected to your true self. So your genius is not, it's not what people say it is. It's not like this like airy fairy, light and happy gift that you get to share with the world, so you can give value to the world. And what that's not what it is. Your genius is actually a monster. And your deep true genius, the one that holds all of your gold, the one that holds true transformation, both in yourself, and it also has the codes of transformation for the clients that you're blueprinted to help. Your true genius is a monster. And what most, including myself, like I thought I had access to it at the time. And even when I started doing this, I thought I had access to my true genius, but I was barely scraping the surface of what I was doing. And so so my genius was calling me to, like, it's not that web design wasn't good enough or anything like that. What my genius was actually calling me to do was, the thing with your genius, because it's a monster, it's very, when we hear about monsters in fairy tales, right, they're very selfish, right? They care about themselves, they care about what they want, et cetera, and that is your genius. Your genius does not care about impacting the world. It cares, or like helping people or giving value. It actually cares, it's very self-serving. It's like, this is what I want and this is what I'm getting. It's funny because most of the times when you actually give in to your genius's true deep dark desires, it ends up helping other people.
Yeah.
And that's the hilarious part. So that's the paradox of it all. But a lot of times people deny their desire, their genius, because they're afraid. That's one reason, but it's not as simple as that. It's not just about, oh, like what happens to me and all that stuff. A lot of times we don't do what we truly want to do. We don't say what we truly want to say. We don't express what we truly want because we're afraid of actually hurting other people's feelings. We're afraid of them seeing us in a different way. We're afraid of all the repercussions and how it will affect our relationships with specific people. And that's what was happening with me. Like, that's what was going on with me at the time. And so I didn't do it. And here's the thing with your genius. Whatever you sacrifice your genius for, it's a monster. Whatever you sacrifice it for, it will come back and it will, like, literally swallow all of it whole. So I sacrificed it for my business. I sacrificed it because I wanted my coach to be proud of me, and I didn't want her to think that I was ditching my business for something else. Like, I had all of these reasons, right? So I lost, like, my relationship with my coach, because she wasn't just my coach to me, she was also like a mother figure. That, like, pretty much dissipated. I lost my apartment. I ended up having to live with my friends for like 7 months. Like, just I was making like $8,000 months. So I was like well on my way to 6 figures that year in my second year of business. And instead, what I just started slowly going down until I crashed, and I was only making like $100 for like 10 months. So it was really interesting how all of this worked out. And of course, I fell into depression. I started thinking suicidal thoughts, like a bunch of crap just started happening until I decided, like, it was literally like, and the whole time all of this was happening, I'm thinking, oh, it's my sales funnels, okay? It's my marketing strategy. It's okay. Maybe I shouldn't be on Facebook anymore. Maybe I should be on Pinterest. Maybe that'll work. And I was like trying to fix all of this stuff. There was actually nothing wrong with the systems that I was using, right? It wasn't my team members. It wasn't my systems. It wasn't my strategies. It was me.
Yeah.
It was me denying my desire. It was me denying myself, denying my genius. And so finally, realized that after 10 months, and I was just it was just like a very simple decision for me. It was like, oh, okay, well, and I think what I was looking for was permission.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people look for. And so we went into, like, I hired this coach, even though I had no money. I hired this coach, and she was kind of like, well, you seem like you want to do coaching, but you seem like you want to do web design also. Like, you're holding on to both. Why don't you just pick one? And it was literally the permission that I needed. I don't think she even realized what she did. It was literally the permission that I needed. And I literally just dropped my web design business just like that. Like within that day, I was like, okay, web design business closed, new business open. I'm coaching now. Like it was literally like that. And then, and that was about 2 months ago. And the thing is, it didn't work out exactly as I had hoped. I didn't get my first, when I first started my business, I got my first client the same day that I started my business. That was my first business. And this time around, it didn't happen as quickly. And I definitely doubted myself the whole way. But pretty soon I started getting clients and I started building an audience and I started building this, because when I look at the difference between the way I built my business this time around and the way I did it before, this time around I built it, it was me. It was just me. And I went through a process of simply improving my relationship with myself.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't about, I wasn't trying to find the latest marketing strategy, the latest funnel, the latest Facebook ad strategy or anything like that. I wasn't trying to hire a lot of people, like a VA or a bunch of other people on my team. Like I wasn't doing all of that, any of that. It was just me, myself, and I. And it was weird because it felt like I was an island and I was alone for a little bit. And it felt like, why would you try to build a business where you need to be around people, where you require people in your life to serve, to sell to build your business? So it was very weird for a little while because it was just me. And it's still just me actually. And I was just working on my relationship with myself again and again and again, redefining who I was, understanding who I was, understanding what I wanted, and giving that to myself, allowing myself to have that. That was also another big thing that I did. And then I just started sharing my experiences with people. I used Facebook because it was the easiest to me. And I just started sharing that with people. And then at the end saying, oh yeah, by the way, you should hire me. Mm-hmm. Like it was that simple. And I feel like a lot of times we make marketing and online business so much harder than it needs to be.
Yes.
And so the more I focused on that, the more I focused on myself, it seemed the stronger my magnetism grew. And what started happening was people just come into my inbox. It's like, oh yeah, like it's a free for all. Just come into my inbox and they just talk to me and they tell me their problems. We get on a call, they cry, they cry a little bit, and then they become a client. And then a couple weeks later, oh yeah, I was making like $100 a month in my business. And now I'm making 3,000. Now I'm making 5,000. I just had a $5,000 day. I just did this. And it's like, okay. And cool. And it's like, structure is very important. And this world thrives on structure. And so I wanted to do this, with you because what I really needed was the permission. And I feel like that's what a lot of people need. So for the people who are listening to this and who are looking for that, I want to give it to you. Like structure is very important. System, strategy, all that stuff. I'm not knocking it. I still have a method to my madness. So I still have a structure, some form of structure. I just want to give you the permission to knock the structures that you're learning, because there's a lot of, this is what you should do. This is what you should be doing in the online space. And I want to give you permission, and I want to even urge you to find out what works for you.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that you don't need a mentor or a coach or anything like that, because I have one and she has completely blew my mind for the time that we've been working together. So I'm not saying that, if you want to work with Brooke, don't work with Brooke because she's gonna tell you, no, this is what you need to be doing. That's not what I'm saying. If you're feeling intuitively drawn to a mentor or a coach, you hire that person and you don't let any excuses run you, because what they're actually meant to do is, especially if they're tapped into their genius, what they're meant to do is introduce you to yourself. They're meant to hold up a mirror for you so that you understand who you are and what you need to be doing. And the strategy doesn't come from that.
Right.
The strategy comes, what ends up happening is that the strategy ends up coming from you. And that's what I believe it means to be like, how to not only make a deeper impact in people, but also make more money and deepen your pockets. Because when people see, first of all, when you're working with people and you're not just helping them see, you're not just saying, oh, like, here's a strategy, go make money, or you're not, oh, like, change your mindset, and you're not like, oh, just change your health and you'll do this. And like, you're not specifically targeting problem areas, you're not spot cleaning, but you're actually focusing on their identity, on the way they see themselves, on on the way that they relate to the world around them. Because every relationship in your life, with your clients, your prospects, your audience, your lover, your romantic partner, whatever, all of it is simply a reflection of your relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
So when you understand that and you deepen your relationship with yourself, naturally, you don't have to try. You don't have to work 60, 80-hour, 40-hour weeks. You don't need to, unless you want to. If you want to, then go ahead. But like, unless you want to, you don't have to do all of that. You don't have, I feel like most entrepreneurs, what they're really looking for is consistency. And a lot of times we look to systems and structure to create consistency. When in reality, when you have a consistent relationship with yourself and you consistently build on that, the consistency naturally happens with the people around you. So you naturally generate leads, you naturally close new clients every single day if that's what you want. I remember I had 2 straight weeks where I signed up a client every single day. And my programs during those 2 weeks, and I was like, whoa, this is cool. That was awesome. And this is technically my 2nd month of business. Yeah. So it doesn't even have to take a lot of time. And that's what I mean. It's like, system strategies, all of that stuff, they're good and they do help. There are tons of people who use them who are millionaires and billionaires. So it does help. And I believe it's the slow way to building the empire that you want. And if you're as impatient as I am, you don't want a quick fix, because quick fixes usually don't last very long. You want something that happens quickly, but also that lasts and that creates that consistency. And this is the only thing, focusing on your own relationship with yourself is the only thing that I've seen that creates not just quick results for yourself, but continuously creates quantum leaps in your life and in your business. So that's with cash, clients, and then it's just like what ends up happening with my clients is that it's not just, we focus on that because that's what I love doing, that's what turns me on, but they like their relationships with the men in their lives completely change, whether it's their father, their husband, their boyfriends, whatever. Their health, just like things that they were struggling with for long, like so long, simply just disappears. I had a client, she had like a breast infection or something when we met, and no matter what she did, like she could not get off antibiotics for it. Whenever she got off of them, like it would flare up again. It was really bad. Within 6 weeks, she was in my 6-week mastermind. Within 6 weeks of that happening, she got off of antibiotics and with no problems, no issues. Like she's been good ever since. And it's cool. Like when she told me that, I was like, oh, that's great. I'm happy for you. Yay. And then I was like, okay, but how much money did you make? I'm excited about. But even then, like, cause your true genius, the way that it works for both. It doesn't just work for the thing that you focus on. So if you focus on confidence or anxiety, you're an anxiety coach, or you help people make more money in their business, or you help them have a loving relationship with people in their lives. Like whatever it is that you do, it's not just that area of life. Like if you really, really, if you stop like scraping the surface of your genius and you dove right in, which is actually the scariest thing that people can do, because it was very scary to me. When you fully dive right in, you fully understand how it works and why it works, and you kind of let it free, because most people have their genius in a cage, and that's why it's not really as potent as it can be. When you fully let it free, you don't just create deep impact with your clients. what ends up happening is that it impacts even the people in your audience.
Yeah.
And you create a deeper intimacy with them, with yourself. The more intimate your relationship with your genius, the more intimate the relationship with them. And so they can't help but say, I have to work with you. Like, what do you charge? Like, just tell me what you charge so I can pay you. Like, they can't help but do that because they see it. They're able to see that you're genius. I'm gonna stop talking now.
You're good. No, I agree with, everything that you said. The systems and strategies and all of that stuff, I fully agree. They're super helpful, but your business can't come from that place. It'll take way, way longer. So it's like this foundational piece. We have to be really clear on who we are and what we actually want, and not deny those desires because we think we shouldn't have them. That's absolutely step one. And if you skip that step, it's going to take you way longer and it's not going to be good. I fully agree. So I love your message. It's like I said at the beginning too, it's very similar to mine. And I love that. I think that's so powerful to just like get everybody to kind of take a step back and really dig into who are you and what do you even want before you try to like build all these fancy, elaborate bullshit that's just gonna like divert your attention. So that stuff is cool, but you don't need it. Just show up, be you, say what you want to say, and trust that the right people are gonna find you. That's my business strategy right there. Yeah. And that's what I teach.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love that you said, because it's like when I find that because that's usually the first thing I ask people when they get on a call with me. I'm like, so what do you want?
Yeah.
And the really funny observation that I've made is most people don't know what they want. They know what they don't want.
Yeah.
So usually they start with that. They're like, well, I don't want this, or I've been struggling with this, and blah, 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 and I just don't want that anymore. And I'm like, you still haven't answered my question. Yeah. You're telling me what you don't want. And I realize that a lot of people, they just focus on that. They're like, yeah, this is like everything that's happening right now is what I don't want. And they never really actually sit down and reflect and say, well, if this is not what I want, what do I want? Yeah. And it's just, actually, I want your opinion on this. Why do you think it's so hard for people to understand and declare what they desire?
Yeah, and I think you touched on it already. I think people are just afraid to like say yes to what they really want. I think we're conditioned to believe like we have to help the world and make the world a better place. And it's not that those things are bad, obviously, but it's like saying, I want money, or I want this, or I want that. I think we're conditioned to think that that's bad. So we try to like push it down, and then we're not coming from that place. And when your energy, like I fully believe if your energy and your passion and you say you're genius, if that's not your driving force, then it might work for a while. You might show up, you might get clients, you might make money for a while, but that's when like the burnout and the exhaustion and like, okay, this sucks, I'm miserable. That's when that stuff comes in. But when you, like you said, when you just show up and just share your message and say what you want to say, you can't get sick of that because it's just who you are. When you're just yourself, then that's my take on it. Like, I think people are just scared to admit what they really want, so they don't sit down and think about it, because it's like, oh, I'm just being a spoiled brat, or I'm just, who am I to want these things? And it's not until you can get past that and really look into that, those desires and figure out what you want. You can't make a plan to get there until you know what it is. So it's almost just like this continuous cycle of trial and error, and try all the new strategies and all the new tools and think it's going to work when you don't even really have a clear definition of what working means, right?
Oh my God. Yeah. Yes, that is so true. A lot of times when I talk to people, I'm like, oh, well, the other common response I get when I'm like, oh, what do you want? They're like, well, what I want is like, I want to build a website, or like, I want to like start marketing on Instagram and blah, blah. And I'm like, you're focused on the how, you're not focused on the what. And the reality is somebody asked me, she had just started her business, and she was like what's the one advice you'd give to somebody like just starting out? And I was like, ooh, girl, if I had one thing, it's like, just trust your intuition, because your intuition already knows the how. Because like what I believe is that time isn't real. Okay, so time isn't actually real the way we think it is. And it doesn't work the way we think it works. The way that I see it is that, so everything is happening right now. So your past, your present, your future is happening in the present. And there are different timelines of what's happening. There are many different versions of what's happening. And when you have a desire, so the way the desire works is when you follow that desire, it actually brings you closer to who you truly are. Like the journey to you meeting that desire is you becoming more of who you need to be and who you actually are to get that thing. That's why different people have different desires. It's like you may want something that I think is completely retarded, and vice versa. So the way the timelines work, when you have a desire, like it comes into your consciousness, it's already happened. It's happening at this moment on a different timeline. And so what you need, and so because the reason that a lot of people struggle is because they try to think with their mind, their physical mind, about how to get there. But in reality, if your mind already knew how to get there, you'd already have it. So what you actually need to do is think with your energetic mind, which is your intuition, which has access to everything, has all the knowledge in the universe. It's literally the Google of the universe. And so what happens with your intuition is it's already connected to that version of yourself who already has the thing that you want. And so it knows exactly what that version of yourself did to get what it has. And so what you do when you trust yourself, when you have a relationship with yourself, what your intuition is going to do is it's going to tell you what to do bit by bit. It will never give you the full step-by-step plan. It will never tell you you do this and do that and do that, and this is how it's going to work, because your conscious mind actually can't handle it. It would be like information overload, and it would literally shut down. So what happens is your intuition is like, go do that. Go to Starbucks. You know what? I know that your car just broke down, but chill for a second and call this specific you out. Like it tells you what to do, but a lot of times people are so stuck in the illusion. They're so stuck in their reality that they don't even listen to that little person in their head. It's like, hey, do this. And they don't realize that that's actually the path to them getting what they want. So instead, because they don't trust themselves, they look to coaches and books and podcasts and systems and strategies and all that stuff. And they're like, well, this is what I need to do. Like, this worked for this person, so it must work for me, and da 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 da. And it comes from a deep distrust in oneself. Because it's like, if you trusted yourself, no matter whether it sounded crazy or not, like, I want to use an example just to show just how crazy this is. So where I am right now, I'm in the clubhouse at my complex, right? I'm usually way too lazy to come here and work. Like, I just rather work at home. So here's what happened. One day I was literally, this was like before I started this journey. But this is an example of how it works. Wherever you are in your journey, you always have access to your intuition. So I really needed, I think I needed like $100. Because I was going to an event that weekend and I did not have the money to get there. Like I found a place to stay and all that stuff. It got paid for by somebody else. All that stuff was taken care of. I just didn't know how I was going to get to Orlando to go to the event. And I was like, okay, well, I only need like $100. When my true desire was like to have a couple $100 just to be like cool and safe and all that stuff. But I was like, oh, I only need $100, so I just need to find like a client for like 100, which was stupid because I didn't even have anything for $100. But anyways, so I couldn't figure out how to make the money. Like I was advertising, all of that stuff. I was doing all the things, the right things, and I did not get a client in the time frame that I needed. So I got this idea to go donate plasma because they give you around like $75, $80. And I was like, and it's cash. And I was like, okay, so I'll be able to help somebody and make some money. That's awesome. So I go to the place, donate plasma, and they tell me that I can't because they couldn't find my vein. And so what normally I would do is like freak out and say, oh my God, I made my money, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, screw it. Well, I'll figure it out. And we come back home, and I had a meeting with this woman. It wasn't a client, it wasn't prospect, it was about like a deal or something. Um, and so I had a meeting with her. So I go in the house, and it's on the phone, so I can have the meeting with her in the house. But something like I'm like, actually, I don't. Listen to this. I don't want to have this meeting in the house. I want to have this meeting in the clubhouse. That is like the clearest thing ever. It's like I want to have this meeting in the clubhouse. And my husband was like, "Oh, why don't you just do it here? Like you're gonna be late if you walk all the way to the clubhouse." I'm like, "Nah, I'm gonna do it." So I come to the clubhouse, and I just have my meeting with her. We're on the phone, and I'm just like chilling, da da da. We're talking, blah blah blah. It actually, the deal didn't go through. Like at the end of the phone call, I'm just like sitting, and I'm like about to like get my stuff so I can go home. And this woman goes, "Excuse me," and I'm like, she's like, "Can I sit?" And I was like, "Sure, but I'm about to leave." And she goes, "Oh, okay. Well, are you a web designer?" And I'll go, "Yeah, I am actually." And she goes, "Oh my God, thank goodness. I've been looking for a web designer. I'm launching my business in a week, and I really need a website, blah, 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 blah." And I'm like, "Okay, let's talk about this." And we talk about it, and it turns out she needed a one-page website. She needed it in a week. At the time, I was running a deal for like a quick one-pager for $250, I believe. But because she needed it in a week, I put like an extra 150 because that's expedited.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. So the number that kept coming up for me was, okay, well, I can do this for $400 for you.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it was just quiet. And she goes, "Okay, well, I have the $400 cash in my at my place. You stay with my daughter," because I was with her daughter. So her daughter was there too. "So stay with my daughter. You guys can like go over the deal, and like she can sign the contract. And I'm gonna go get the $400 cash." Because if she had given it to me, like paid by card, I wouldn't have had it in time, first of all. But she just happened to have $400 cash lying around, and she gave it to me. And this was all like no strategy
Right.
or plan, no pre-planned strategy would have put me in contact with this person so that A, I could provide her what she needed, which was a one-page website, and B, she could provide me with what I needed, which was a couple $100 so I can have fun that weekend. And that's what I mean by listening to your intuition, because that entire chain of events, like it could have stopped at the whole like plasma donation thing. Like I could have been like, screw this. I'm really pissed. I'm annoyed. I drove all the way down there and I didn't get the money I wanted, so screw this. And like I could have been like, I'm just gonna stay home because I don't want to talk to people right now. And I could have really gotten in my feelings about that. But it didn't. I was like, you know what? If it didn't come through here, it'll come through something else. And I'm just gonna do my thing and do what I want. Right. And I listened to even the smallest thing that I wanted, because it wasn't a big request. It was a small request to go do this meeting at the clubhouse. And what we normally do, especially for really small things, we're like, that doesn't matter. I don't have to do that. Like, that's just too much. Like I have to walk 5 minutes to the clubhouse. That's crazy. When in reality, all of it matters. All of your desires matter. And when you honor them no matter what, that's how you get the clients. That's how you get the money. And that's how you really, really build that impact, because you become this limitless leader, this leader who, no matter what it is that you do, it's not what you're doing that creates the impact and the income which you want, it's who you're being. So you can literally take a nap and wake up to sales. You can literally go hang out with family or friends and take the weekend off because you feel like it and come back to sales. Like you don't actually. I remember the other day, oh my God, last thing, I'm sorry. It was so freaking awesome. So last week, I think it was last week or the week before that, I have been working all week, and I was like, I think my goal that week was like $30,000, no, it was like $35,000 around that. That's how much I wanted to make that week. And I was so close. I was so freaking close. And I was short like $35,000 booked, not cash, just to be sure. So I was short like $6,000. I was like this close to making it. And I had 2 slots left in my mastermind that I had been trying to sell for like 2 or 3 weeks. And I got many almost sales, people who put in deposits, but nobody who actually paid what was required in time for it to happen.
Yeah.
So that Friday, and I was missing, the reason I was trying to make the money, I wanted to make money to finish paying my coach that I had just hired. And then I also wanted to make money just to have fun, like just to have money. And
all the normal money.
Yeah, just that money, right? So Friday was the deadline for me. No, it was like Thursday, whatever day it was the deadline for me to pay my coach, right? So I'm like, okay, so I need this. I think I was short $1,500 to finish paying her, and no matter what I did, no matter who I talked to, I couldn't find the access to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, well, what do I want to do now? And I was like, well, I want to go play pool. So I went to go play pool. And as soon as I put my phone down and I started playing pool, I get this text. Somebody replied to my story because I had said I had 1 spot left in my mastermind. Somebody replied to my story and she goes, hey, I need your help. Do you have a website? And I'm like, if you need my help, why do you need to go to my website? Like, talk to me. What's wrong? What's going on? And she starts explaining her stuff. And I'm like, you know what? We need to get on a call. We get on a call. 20 minutes later, I have a new person in my mastermind. So booked 3K. She paid $1,500 on the call. I was playing pool.
That's awesome.
That's number one. The next day, I was like, it was a Thursday. So I actually paid my coach early. That's what happened. It was a Thursday. That Friday, the next day, I was like, I don't want to work today. I still want to sign clients. I still want another client for this mastermind, but I don't want to work today. So I'm going to go hang out with my friend and I'm going to sign a client on today. Like I decided, like that's what's happening. And I'm hanging out with my friend. And while we're hanging out, I get a message from somebody who I had spoken with when I started my business, who did not come through. Like she had the money, but she did not pay for the specific mastermind that I was running again. And so she messages me, she's like, hey, I don't know if you have any spots left for your mastermind, but I figured it was like I should do it I should reach out anyways. I have the money. No questions. I'm so sorry I never got back to you. Sign me up. Send me the invoice. And I sent it to her, $1,500. Hey. And like it was like, what? You're telling me I worked hard for a whole week and I was only making like $500 sales. Like I couldn't seem to get past that. And then as soon as I just let go and I decided that this is what I want and this is what I'm doing, I get it. Seriously. And it was like, wow, okay, cool. And this was all intuitive. It was all intuitive action. And I'm not saying that you don't need to work. Oh God, you need to work. Please don't think that. You do need to work. It's required that you actually put energy into what you do. So yeah, you do. And what's truly required of you is for you to do what you want. Yeah. So you work because you want to. You do a live video because you want to. You create that marketing post because you want to. You get on a sales call with someone because you want to, not because you need to. Yeah. You don't market because you need to, because that energy comes off in your marketing. And that's why there's so much noise in the space, because everybody's like it's like everybody's like, I need you to their prospects. And your prospect is like they run away from that energy. But when you're like, you know what, like I really want to work with you. Like, I don't need to work with you. If you say no, like my ego does not get crushed, but I want to, I really want to, then people are drawn to that. That's sexy, that's magnetic, and people are drawn to that. And that only comes, again, back to the whole thing, right? It only comes from having a stronger sense of self. And that this is something obviously that you don't just do. You're done. It's like, oh, I'm done. No, this is something that you continue to do. And the more you do it, the stronger your sense of self is, and the stronger your magnetism becomes. And the easier that it becomes for you to get what you want.
I love it. That's awesome. It's so true. So thank you so much for sharing. I love the stories too. I think the stories are like such a powerful way to illustrate the point without just like keeping saying the same thing over and over again. So I love it. I love the stories. I think that's amazing. So thank you so much for coming in and sharing with us. You guys just click on Samoa's name if you want to reach out and talk to her about any of this stuff. But I really appreciate you coming in and sharing with us. And yeah, everyone have a great weekend, and let us know, or let Samoa know if you have any questions.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Brooke. I had fun.
You're so welcome. Anyone else too? Spotlight Sunday is open to anyone in my community also. So anyone that wants to sign up for Spotlight Sunday, join the group and you can sign up there. I want to hear from everybody. I love hearing everyone's powerful messages and like talking to the people who are so passionate and actually believe in what they're doing like this. So definitely sign up if you want to come on and hang out with us, and have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks again.
Bye, guys.
Bye.